A functioning society doesn't need good people. It doesn't need smart people. What it needs more than anything is people with only one side. Sit with that for a moment. It's uncomfortable, and you can't quite argue with it. 100 years ago, a German writer turned that discomfort into a novel. His name was Hermann Hesse. The novel was called Steppenwolf. Hi, I'm Fish. Welcome to Fish Under Leviathan. Most people read Steppenwolf as a confession of loneliness. A middle-aged intellectual, spiritually fractured, unable to fit in, drowning in self-loathing. But if all you see is one man's breakdown, you've missed the truly terrifying thing about this book. Hesse wasn't writing about a man who went mad. He was writing about how a social order forces anyone who has more than one side into an impossible choice: cut yourself in half or be expelled as a defect. This is not a psychological problem. This is the price of admission. Let's get clear on who Harry Haller actually is. He's an intellectual living in Weimar-era Germany between the wars. He reads Goethe. He listens to Mozart. He's cultivated, thoughtful, deeply serious. But he has another side, isolated, violent in spirit, disgusted by the world, flirting with self-destruction. By day, a respectable man of letters. By night, someone who wants to throw himself off a bridge. Hesse gave these two sides names. One is the man, the other is the wolf. Most readers accept this without question. Oh, it's a story about inner conflict. Man and wolf, reason and instinct, civilization and wildness. A classic duality. But wait. Why is the side that reads Goethe called the man, while the side that is lonely and savage is called the wolf? Who made that classification? The answer: the bourgeois order. Hesse spelled this out explicitly. He devoted an entire chapter to it, the treatise on the Steppenwolf, a cold little pamphlet that reads like a clinical diagnosis. That treatise makes something very clear. The bourgeoisie, in Hesse's framework, is not an economic class. It is a survival strategy. Its core logic is this: find a safe middle ground between the extremes of spiritual devotion and sensual abandon. Never too high, never too low. Trade intensity for safety. Trade complexity for survival. So when Harry contains both a saint and a libertine within himself, the bourgeois order doesn't say, "What a rich inner life." It says, "Something is wrong with this man." Steppenwolf was never a name Harry gave himself. It was a label the order pinned on him. You're not a complex person. You're a wolf, something that needs to be tamed or driven out. But the problem runs deeper than labels. We have to ask, why does this order insist, absolutely insist, that you be one person? But place it inside a larger frame and something far colder emerges. The functioning of modern society depends on a precondition. Every individual must be legible. Legible means predictable, manageable, replaceable. A stable taxpayer, a stable employee, a stable consumer. All three identities demand the same thing, that you are one person. Your resume is a single line. Your credit history is a single line. Your online profile is a single line. Every system is saying the same thing to you: please remain consistent. And the real purpose of legibility is not to help the system understand you better. It's to make sure you can be used without needing to be understood at all. This is the true origin of the single personality requirement. It's not a cultural preference. It is the entry condition of the division of labour. An illegible person isn't hard to understand. He's impossible to slot into any assembly line. There's a scene in the novel that captures this with surgical precision. Harry goes to dinner at the home of an old professor, someone who was once his friend. In the parlour hangs a portrait of Goethe, but it has been sanitised beyond recognition. This is not the contradictory, dangerous Goethe who wrote Faust. This is a pleasant, dignified Goethe, a Goethe who looks like a retired civil servant. Harry can't help himself. He says what he actually thinks. The atmosphere freezes instantly. He is politely shown the door. The point of this scene is not the arrogance of intellectuals. The point is, the bourgeois order trims even its own idols into single harmless versions. Goethe must be great and respectable. He cannot be great and dangerous. People are treated the same way. You can be excellent, but only one kind of excellent. You can be deep, but your depth must not make anyone uncomfortable. Hesse saw the cage. He saw it with extraordinary clarity. So what was his prescription? In the second half of the novel, Harry meets a woman named Hermine. She teaches him to dance, to take pleasure, to inhabit the sensory world he had always refused to touch. Eventually, she leads him into a place called the Magic Theatre. The Magic Theatre is a hallucinatory experience. Inside it, Harry's personality is shattered into pieces. He is no longer just man and wolf. He experiences 1,000 versions of himself: the killer, the lover, the child, the madman. Hesse's prescription is this: you are not two people. You are 1,000. Accept your multiplicity. Don't cling to any single version of yourself. Learn humour, the ability to look down at your own absurdity from a great height. It sounds beautiful, but there is a crack here that Hesse himself never saw. Where does the Magic Theatre take place? Inside Harry's consciousness. It is a private space. The world outside, the order that demands you be legible, predictable, replaceable, hasn't moved an inch. Harry can be 1,000 people inside the Magic Theatre. But the moment he walks back onto the street, he can only be one. Hesse diagnosed a disease that is institutional. The order cannot tolerate complexity. But the cure he prescribed is psychological. Just accept your own complexity internally. This is the equivalent of telling a prisoner, your cell can't be dismantled, but you're free to fly in your dreams. And here's what makes it even more unsettling. The order has never prohibited inner freedom. What it prohibits is outer unpredictability. You can meditate after work, read philosophy, attend a silent retreat, journal about your shadow self, as long as you show up at your desk at 9 the next morning. The reason you get to be yourself is that you've already finished being the person you're required to be. So the Magic Theatre is not a jailbreak. It is a yard hour approved by the institution. And the most persuasive thing about this prescription is that it actually works. The man who wrote this book didn't collapse. He didn't disappear. Hesse survived, and survived well. He spent his later years by a lake in Switzerland and won the Nobel Prize in Literature, which proves that the prescription is effective, and proves in the same breath that it changed nothing. The success of this remedy is itself its limitation. So what makes us any different from Harry? You are one person at the office and another person on your private account. You have a social media profile curated for colleagues and a burner account that's actually you. On weekends you go to festivals, to temples, to therapy. You call it finding yourself. Your late-night podcast queue keeps getting longer. Your self-improvement reading list never gets shorter. Once a year, you save up enough leave to fly somewhere far away, come back, post a photo carousel, caption it, "Found myself again," and clock in Monday morning. Hesse showed us how this ends 100 years ago. The ticket to the Magic Theatre is sold to you by the order itself. If a society lets you have 1,000 selves, on the condition that every morning at 9 you become the same one, then the part of you that thinks it's rebelling, who gave it to you?